Well, Chocolatiers. Watched a really good movie just last night. Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim. Now, this movie pretty much takes place, like, I think I said 100 and something years, whatever, before, Lord of the Rings, the plot of that. And actually, no, plot of The Hobbit, my bad. And so, before all this other stuff, and so, yeah. Pretty much, I would say my only complaint with it, which I'm going to get into now, is that this movie is one of these type of movies where, outside of like one character and then the last 2 minutes really could have just been a random badass anime on its own. And that's not really a complaint. It's just kind of one of those things where I really feel like they were like really pushing that Lord of the Rings shit. Like where they're like, please go watch it. And I really hope people do watch it too, though, because, Lord of the Rings fan or not, I'm one of these ones where I do love the movies. I've read The Hobbit. I haven't read The Lord of the Rings, though. But it's one of those things where I'm not a mega fan. Like, I wasn't shitting my pants when this was announced. I wasn't shitting my pants when I go watch this movie. And so, even with that, being the type of fan I am, where I'm like, hey, I'll watch this stuff, I'll support it. I definitely think if you don't like the Prime show, then you should at least go watch this. This show, or this not the show, this movie is really good. The animation is great. The action scenes are great. I would say there's a little bit of pacing issues because the third act, they're pretty much in like one area. And you can really tell that this is because like the movie has like an hour left and you're like, okay, this is where it's going to go. But once that last 30 minutes hits, it's cool. So it's only like a 30-minute problem. And I wouldn't cut anything out of that 30 minutes. I just feel like they could have tweaked some things, if that makes sense. Because it gets really slow. But yeah, so basically the plot is that, I didn't know, even though I've seen the trailers, which is ironic. I guess I just had forgot. But basically, you have Hela as princess, and her and this other young boy named Wolf, they hang out, they play together, whatever, this and that, right? And so, Wolf's dad comes to the kingdom, and he's basically starting shit. He's like, I'm hearing that your daughter's gonna get married to somebody in Gondor. And basically the king's like, fuck, it ain't none of your business, but like, she ain't get married. Could have easily said that, but no, he's like, ain't none of your business, bitch. And so they go outside and they fight, and the dude hits the king like 2 or 3 times, and the king just barely moves, and he's like, okay. And he just fucking swings on him once, and the dude fucking dies. That's why they call this man Helm Hammerhand. That motherfucker got hands for days. And so he kills the shit out of this guy by one punch. And so Wolf, his son, jumps in. He's like, I'm gonna take vengeance on you. I'm gonna kill your whole fucking family, bitch. And in this and that. And the whole reason why it starts, I skipped that part. Because even though he's instigating, he's like, I want my son to marry your daughter. And so the daughter, Hela, she's like, I don't want to marry you, Wolf, whatever. And he's like, kind of distraught because he kind of wants to marry her. He likes her, he's fond of her, whatever. And, she doesn't want his ass. And so basically he goes to war. He gets all his people from the mountains, all this other shit. And he goes to war. And he pretty much wins-ish. And it's a really epic battle. But then that's when the last hour and a half of the movie happens, and that it takes an amazing turn. There's a lot of cool twists and stuff. There's a lot of cool character moments, and like I said, at the end there's some setup and stuff. But this is the type of movie that I feel like is perfect for this time of year. I remember when I saw like a Christmas announcement, like around December-ish. I remember I was kind of like, okay. I was like, okay. But I kind of get it though. It's that type of movie. It's like a cool action movie. It's kind of like that anime style, but there's like a lot of magic and whimsy in the world, especially at the beginning of the film before they get into like the war. And it's just like a lot of cool scenes in this movie where you're just sitting there kind of like, wow, just taking it in, whatever. I feel like the movie also takes its time to get started, but that's not a bad thing whatsoever. I think that this movie is really good in how it builds its world and sets it up, because like I feel like I went with people that really don't remember Lord of the Rings. They've seen them, but it's one of those things where like I saw them once when they came out, and it's like one of them. And so, for them to understand it and really love the story, so that too, I feel like that's a good that's a good example of what I was saying at the beginning of the review, where I was saying it really has barely any ties to Lord of the Rings. And that's kind of good in its favor, because, you know, you don't have to watch this stuff. And I feel like the trailers should have focused on that more, because I know that they show the Lord of the Rings stuff, and I get they show all this stuff trying to set it up to hype. But I feel like, you know, even though it was titled that, I feel like the trailer should have more focused on more of this plot, which maybe it did. I'm kind of blanking on the trailer. But I feel like they should have really pushed and heavy-handed focus on, hey, you don't have to watch the films. Go watch them if you want to, but you don't have to. Because it's basically a prequel. And I feel like everything they did was great. You know, I love the character of Hela. I think she's awesome. She's cool. You know, let's hope that woke crowd doesn't get mad, because, you know, she is a female. But I think she's cool. Her family's badass, especially her father, Helm Hammerhand. He's cool. You know, he's mentioned a few times in the books. And so, you know, it's one of those things where it's like canon, but it's not canon, you know, if that makes sense. But I really think that they did a good job, canon or not. They kind of do some setup stuff, so if we ever do get a sequel to this, I'm not mad. I don't think we will, only because I don't see box office blowing up for this movie and popping off. There's like one person in my theater, which I'm not basing it off of that, but I'm just saying, I think it only made $4 million so far, and it's at the time of recording this, it's Sunday. And, you know, I know Craven's not doing that good, and next week Sonic and Mufasa come out, so like week after that you got all the Christmas movies. You know, you got like, which I don't know how those are going to do. I'm actually curious to know how Nosferatu, Complete Unknown, Baby Girl, and then that boxing movie that comes out. Probably the boxing movie will be last in those. It might be Baby Girl, you never know. But Complete Unknown, I feel like might end up blowing it out of the water just because it's Bob Dylan. But even then, like, Nosferatu, that's a weird date. I've always said that. I'm excited. I'm glad it's on Christmas. My birthday is a few days after that, so I'm excited to watch it then. I'm going to wait. But it's just one of those things where, like, I get the vibe, you know, snowy and spooky and this and that, but I just can't see families being like, damn, wow, they're sold out of Sonic 3 tickets. You guys want to see Nosferatu? Like, I just feel like that's such an odd date. I feel like this should have came out around Halloween. Like, it's just weird. But yeah, I am excited for the box office stuff. I'm excited for the box office on this. I hope it does good. I really do. You know, Warner Brothers really ain't been marketing the motherfucker like worth a shit. And so, yeah, let's hope it does good. But yeah, with that, I'm excited for the future of this franchise if they go forward. If they don't, it's a nice little standalone movie. It's really, really good. I'm giving this movie a 9.5 out of 10. I thoroughly enjoy this film. I don't get the people that's kind of hating on it. And I'm sure there might be lower stuff, this and that. Don't ask me. Don't hate me either, because like I told you, I'm kind of blanking on a lot of this shit. I know Helm is mentioned. That's about it. I don't remember how and what context, so they might have told the story or whatever. But just based on a war movie with most characters that I seem to like, because like even like Wolf, I've seen people say that they don't like his motivations, but like think about it. I'm not saying he's in the right, but I'm just saying your dad pretty much goes there to defend you, and you know he's like, I mean, yeah, he's starting shit clearly, but he's like, hey, you know, I want my son to marry your daughter. You know, we can combine alliances, whatever to say. And clearly, it's to get people in the front. Like clearly, he's being a piece of shit. But it seems like Wolf, for the most part, is like, hey, I really do like you, or whatever. Like, you know, we're friends. Like, we know each other. It's not like a stranger, right? And she's basically like, ugh. And like I just said, he's like, damn. Then you kill my daddy? Then he attacks the king, which I get was on Wolf. That's stupid. But he like about fucking dies there. And then he has another chance to basically get Homegirl to marry him. And at one point in the film, she's like about to. But then she's kind of like, she's like, yeah, she said, you know, blah, blah. But she kind of like makes this comment where it's kind of like he said, he's like, oh, you're basically just disgusted. And so I'm not saying he's in the right. He definitely should have done half the shit he did in this movie. But I can kind of see where a lot of anger stems from. He's not the perfect villain or nothing like that. But I can kind of see where he's kind of like, you know, because at one point in the film, he makes a good point. There's one guy, and it's actually kind of sad, where like he tells, because like the one guy who's kind of like his second in command who worked with his father, like he tells him, he's like, you know, we could just go. And like, he's like, we pack it up, you got everything you wanted, you know, blah, blah. And like he tells him, he's like, this is all I have. This revenge quest is all I have left. His family's fucking dead. He's killed too many people now. At this point, if he stops, like he said, it's not going to seem like weakness. It's just going to mainly just be kind of for nothing. And so shit like that was where I was like, damn, they're cooking in this chat, bro. And so yeah, fucked with this movie, really loved it, and definitely give us Mr. Shock Silver approval. So please like, subscribe for more, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.
He's dead?
I love my popcorn. Movies, popcorn.